Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Leslie Ali. In this incarnation, I am here today to talk about the energies of the next week from November 10th until November 16th of 2025. This is a week that starts inviting us to this introspection because yesterday, November 9th, in some places could be today, Mercury started the retrogradation. But because of the configurations of the new moon in Scorpio, I'm going to talk about that later. Not necessarily we are talking about a calm week, but we are going to start in the beginning. Mercury started the retrogradation in Sagittarius, and the regent of this sign is Jupiter, which on November 11th also begins to be retrograde in the degree 25 with 9 minutes of Cancer until March 11th of 2026, which awakens in the degree 15. So this is going to impact the house or houses where you have these mathematical degrees on your natal chart, and of course the planets that are there. And when every planet starts this illusory movement backwards, we all feel them. So this means that among the visions and the conceptions of the growth, what for you means at this moment expansion requires not only to be reevaluated from the mental processes associated to Mercury. I am mixing languages. Well, we are in Mercury retrograde. But that this linked about Mercury is very related to rethink conceptions of growth that paradoxically aren't producing growth anymore. For example, associating expansion only with material topics. We are coming from a full moon in Taurus, or with the obtention of external validation. This doesn't mean that we don't have to invest our energy to improve those areas if we need so, or if we believe so. In order to create circles of people that can make us feel at home, which is something very linked with Cancer. But with a Jupiter in retrograde, life is calling us to make home in ourselves and to reconfigure certain visions or beliefs over expansion that at the time we can giving another structure to them inwards, they could also be reflected in the plane of the matter. For example, beginning to value emotional security that we can give to ourselves, taking care of our energy and putting limits to those things that are not nourishing us are very, very important. Jupiter is in a trine with Saturn retrograde in Pisces. In fact, I did a video talking about that because this is a long-term aspect. So this could offer this fluidity to close cycles and let go of experiences that were part of the path. Both are retrograde, focusing in the emotional, mental, and physical needs so we can effectively produce the growth. And again, because both of them are in this phase of revision, it is perhaps about readjusting the thing of over-focusing in the future and to start to create an order and to feed a structure that perhaps we have been sustaining right now, but in a different way. This means perhaps we start to understand that there are things that we weren't attending that are very important so we can sustain ourselves emotionally too, and even to sustain others, because Jupiter in Cancer is very related with topics linked with family, for the people that have children, for example, and to extend other forms of freedom, of development, and of mastery in our path. And in a society that has been so dependent on the external forms, and with little attention, I am mixing the languages, little attention to how we are feeling right now, I think this is changing, but it has been a society like that. It cares more about what is seen from the outside than how we are feeling. So Jupiter in Cancer could be a wonderful transit to realize how important it is to inhabit inner peace, is to even transit uncomfortable emotions, but allowing ourselves to flow through them without attachment, perhaps. And learning of the situations, learning that giving too much to the outside isn't generosity if that is draining you, or if that is emerging of not wanting to look at certain things of our emotional core that require to be seen. Because when those mechanisms are operating, other people are going to reflect that, so we can learn to give validation to ourselves. Even many of us incarnated in families with great emotional lack in certain orders, so we can learn to develop that contention in ourselves, and eventually to offer that to other people with true generosity, not looking for covering up for a void. So a lot of memories of the past could reach you these days, even of other incarnations, so we can give to them a new sense or amplify the vision that we were giving to them. And it is cultivating these kind of things, of course, accompanied by actions, but it is not a moment to do. It is more a moment to review and to understand how cultivating these things are going to is what reflects them on the outside. It is the labor that no one sees, and that doesn't need recognition, external recognition, because the fact that we can feel with confidence, or the fact that we can create that inner shelter in oneself, it is already a wonderful experience that allows us to perceive the richness of the experience and even the joy. But also, I think it is important to know that this is a process, and that requires a lot of compassion and love towards oneself when with the things that we didn't integrate yet. And we will always have things that we didn't integrate. And this allows us to see other human beings through this lens of compassion and love, even if we don't share their own beliefs, ways of acting, or seeing life. The human experience is something that we are all going through, with pain, with joy, with whatever emotion we are going through. But not all the people have reconnected with the seeking of their purpose, the purpose through which we are here. And this is something that cannot be forced. This is something that, this is an inner impulse that only has to come from the inside. And it is that reconnection which genuinely leads us to the growth, because that purpose, that principal purpose, is connected with everything, the people that are part of our path, the experiences, the challenges, everything. So continuing with this, the day after, November 12th, Mercury retrograde makes a conjunction with Mars in Sagittarius. This is the second one. This happens in the degree 6. The last one occurred in Scorpio, in the last degrees of Scorpio. And having in account that both of them are responding to this stationary Jupiter retrograde, the shadow of the transit could be communicating or acting in a very impulsive way. Could be linked with wanting to say a truth. And let's remember that truth is your perception. My truth is my perception. So if that is coming from anger, that is truly activating a shadow for the person that is feeling the anger. Beyond the imbalanced acts of other people. It is not our function to force them to act as we think they should do, when that is not impacting our physical integrity, of course. But it could be a conjunction where we are talking too much, where we are telling a truth with quotation marks that is coming from a judgment, from limited beliefs, from lack of information that perhaps is revealed later during the retrogradation. And well, that produces regrets. We can all learn about whatever thing we are transiting, but not all the people has truly this capacity of reviewing themselves, or the will. It is not about the capacity, it is the will. So again, this conjunction could be linked with wanting to impose a vision, forcing the other person to see my truth. And those things are showing inner imbalances. But in its most elevated expression, it is a transit that, if we go inwards, could be linked with finding answers that perhaps are impulsing other questions, but that are bringing a lot of direction. Could be little certainties, like I need to focus in this right now because I understand that this has sense in this moment. And also that is accompanied of the sensation of purpose, of peace, that oneself is aligned to his or her path, to one's path. So if the things that we are focusing right now or acting produce other imbalanced states and other imbalanced emotions, we have to review what occurs inside first, because planets in Sagittarius could make bigger a situation much more than what is or what could be. And at last, the Sun in Scorpio, we are going to feel this with anticipation because these aspects are part of the configuration of the new moon in Scorpio, but the Sun in Scorpio is going to make trines, water trines that bring a lot of light. This means consciousness, awareness to aspects that are related with our emotions, so we can flow better with the changes that are coming, because Uranus retrograde in Taurus is the protagonist of the next lunation. And this is the reason why I was saying at the beginning of the video that, yeah, it is a week of introspection, but also changes. And the Uranian energy has its challenges at the time that we have to deal with it, because when we are so attached to expectations or with rejection to the revolutionary movements that proposes, well, this could produce resistance. So I think that's something important for this week too, would be staying present, the practice of staying present, and to open ourselves to the new forms of inhabiting the experience. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.